And the name of the book you completed? Well, the book that I completed was released in 2018. It's called Full Disclosure, and 2 more are coming out next year. And have you also done some comedy shows? Yes. Have you also in the past hosted a podcast? Yes. What was the podcast about? The podcast was called Beyond the Norm. It was sort of anything that is beyond the norm. It was about anything from like serial killers, female serial killers, to UFO abductions, paranormal stuff, porn. That's not, it's beyond the norm, politics, anything like that. In connection with the podcast that might have involved politics, in some of those, did you discuss Mr. Trump or your experience with him? Yes, of course. Do you still host that podcast? Sadly, no, I don't. Why not? Because I got fired. Why was that? Because I was reluctant to continue talking about just that one narrative about this case and about, like politics. I was told I could pick a variety of things to talk about, and they just kept going down this one subject line. And it is because of that subject line that you do not podcast? Correct. Were you recently featured in a documentary? Yes. What briefly was the documentary about? About my life and my story. Included in that documentary, did you also speak about Mr. Trump and your experience with him? Yes. In about 2009, did you also explore running in the Republican primary for Senate in Louisiana? Yes. Can you tell the jury a little about that? In 2009, let's see, I got an email from a friend saying, did you know about this? There is a guy in Louisiana. First, it came at me as this person is using your name, your trademark name, and your image to promote himself. She was actually a little bit wrong. It was a draft Stormy campaign, and it was to go against the Republican Senator David Vitter, and I got really mad and basically got a hold of the guy, his name was Brian Welsh, and went after him to stop using my name and image to promote himself. But it wasn't to promote himself, it was to bring attention to this candidate, the Republican candidate in Louisiana, who was running on a platform of who was anti-women and was trying to shut down reproductive rights and sex education in school and Planned Parenthood. Meanwhile, he got caught doing some unsavory things, and he had no intention of making me the senator, but I was helping to bring attention. I jumped on board and basically was saying that I was a better choice than this guy, but I dropped out. I never wanted to actually move back to Louisiana. I didn't want to establish residency. I made a lot more money doing the job that I was doing at the time, which made for some fun campaign slogans I would have loved to use. But David Vitter would never he wouldn't debate me. So just to clarify, so was the platform that you were interested in running on was to promote sex education and women's reproductive rights? Correct.